You're now listening to Hispanics Causing Panic, baby. Let's do this.
But right now, Hispanics are causing black. But right now, Hispanics are causing black. Yeah, Hispanics are causing panic.
And thanks to those showing us live and those that will be joining us on the archive. You're listening on the archive, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell us what you think. Share this video on all your social media platforms. You're tuning in to HCP. That's Hispanics Causing Panic. I'm being joined by my co-host, the one and the only Cali X Boxing. How's it going, Cali?
Good. Hope everybody's doing good on this beautiful Monday.
It is a beautiful Monday. I'm enjoying my I don't drink alcohol anymore. It's all about mineral water. See how healthy I've become? You know what I mean?
Smoothie King.
Smoothie King. I mean,
Got a nice healthy smoothie. Nice healthy smoothie.
They have one of those next to the Anytime Fitness here. I guess it's a good business model they got going. So we're officially here, Cal. We're officially it's fight week. It is Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's Terrence Bud Crawford. Are you personally feeling the buzz? How's this fight? How's it feel? Just we're not that far away here. How's it feeling? 5 days away.
Personally, I'm like at an 8 out of 10, but that's normal. Fight week for me. As the fight week goes on, Saturday I'll be 10. I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm hoping these Netflix streams hold up.
So like now that's obviously something. Well, if it held up with because they've already tried it with like Tyson, Paul. They tried it, so I think it will hold up. And there's some things I want to expand with that. But first, are you getting the same kind of feel? Like what's the feel? With your circles, with your friends, family, with this fight compared to maybe fights of the past? Like, has your wife asked you about this fight, for example?
No.
Is this no? Man.
I haven't gotten any of that, but I do think there's going to be last minute exposure to it from the casuals. Just being the outlet is Netflix, so I think people are going to stumble upon it over the weekend and tune in. I do. I don't know how it's been for you over in El Paso, but here I haven't had anybody ask me about it.
Yeah, look, I've been working a lot, so it's kind of hard to assess it, but I have had like cousins, but those are the cousins that are asking me about almost all the fights. So there's nothing special about that, to be honest. I'm not really hearing anything past that, to be honest with you, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah,
it doesn't have, if I'm honest, like a super fight feel like Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather had.
No.
Or like Mayweather versus De La Hoya had, or even Canelo versus Floyd. It doesn't have there's that element that's kind of missing.
Even the Canelo versus Golovkin, like the first one, I haven't felt that energy.
Yeah, like that's true. And that's interesting because To me, this is like the Hagler Leonard of our era. These are two top pound for pound fighters. Both guys have been in the number one pound for pound the last 10
Yeah,
years.
but you know what
You know,
you know what it speaks to me though is,
sure.
and you know I've been a Bud fan for how long? 12 years, since the beginning. But there's always been a disconnect between Bud and the public. I've always said that. So it just speaks to Bud's just not the strongest draw. He's just not, man. Like it is what it is. I don't think he ever will be. Now this will introduce him to a different market, obviously. And if he wins a fight,
Mm,
then even more so, right? But he's never
right.
been the strongest draw with the public, with the casual public. He's never really broken through with that market. I- Um, and that's just, I think that's what you're seeing here.
So does that speak to if if what you're saying is correct, and that also means Canelo isn't big enough to draw all on his own, right? Like
No,
it's not.
I think Canelo. I think when Canelo's out there fighting, people are gonna tune in. But I think we've talked about this. I think the ceiling has gone lower for Canelo as far as what he can draw.
Mm,
And I think that has to do with the opposition. The past few fights, guys like Berlanga, right? Um, Fighting the last fight where he fought it against who he fought it. I think
true.
drawing power has definitely decreased, and you add that to the fact that um, Bud's being propped up big time by Turkey Al-Sheikh. I think there's what he's being paid, and the marketing behind him is a bit artificial. I don't think he's organically as big as they made him out to be, and I think
Right.
that what we've got as far as maybe a lack of buzz going into the fight. But once again, I think as the fight week goes on and it's marketed on Netflix, the fact that it's on Netflix and it's not a pay per view, I think that's going to matter here, and I think it
Okay.
will do big numbers. I think it will.
All right. Shout out to Remy, by the way, Coach Dry Turkey. That's an interesting name, but shout out to you. DB boxing fan, Mars Boxeo, boxing magic Mexican side. Sutter Kane, aka DJ Bless, has texted me the link. I want to come on. We could definitely maybe do something Wednesday or Thursday, brother, if you're available. For sure. And shout out to you. I hope everything's good on your end. JC in the building. Michael Montero says, shout out to HCP. Has some free time and can actually sit back and relax and watch some HCP. Shout out to him. And Nando, of course. Shout out to you, brother. Kamik Ozzy and Demetrio. And while Calix enjoys his healthy smoothie, um, that's what this show is brought to you by. It's brought to you by, what is it again? Smoothie King.
Smoothie
And
King.
yeah, that's right. And some nice, healthy mineral water. We got our sponsors down pat. But I think the public could only take so much. Like this is just, I'm just talking in general here. They can only take so much when they're constantly being told you're going to buy whatever we're going to give you, whether you like it or you're not. And people can become very, they can feel some type of way about it, and it's understandable. And whether we like it or not, can kind of engage in a little bit of that. I can fight whoever I want, and you guys are going to take it. Like I've earned it, and I can fight who I want, and you're going to have to watch it because I earned it. And we got the Berlanga fight, and we got even the Munguia fight to a certain degree. These are just not fights that the public was clamoring for and demanding. And boxing's lack of reading public demand, right, has kind of led to this where we are kind of now, where you kind of like manufacture shit, like the Saudis have been trying to manufacture stars. They're trying to manufacture like consent that we're really into everything they're giving us. And while they're giving us a lot of great fights, the general public just isn't. They're not responding, Calix. And right now they put a machine behind this, and even though I think it's a great fight, the general public just isn't. At least from that could change within midweek, obviously, but as of right now, I don't feel the hype. Maybe the people in the chat are different. I mean, maybe you guys have different anecdotal stories, and maybe they feel the buzz. I'm personally not feeling it, and I think it has a lot to do with what we mentioned.
Yeah, and I think we'll see with the ticket prices, as Nando said, what's it going to be late this week. When Canelo fought Golovkin the third time, I went out there and I was waiting and hoping for ticket prices to drop a little bit, because I always wait last minute, and they never did. They never did. They
Right.
held steady the whole time, and I could tell you there was a lot of buzz out there, and they were raking in the money then. So we'll see
Well,
as
that
fight
wasn't in
week
a
goes on.
stadium, though. You know what I
It's a
mean?
stadium. It's a stadium fight. So when it's a stadium fight, you need to price it accordingly. You need to price it to where people can get in.
Uh,
And I don't know if they've done that. And I think the ticket sales this week, as far as what they're going for, will reflect that, because I think the ticket prices will drop as the fight week goes on significantly.
yeah, like I think that's very, very interesting. Man, that's going to be interesting. This is
But what
the,
I'll say
the
though,
problem with
D-Style,
that
is
strat.
I think because
Yeah,
this is a Netflix fight, I think the the numbers for how many people watch this fight and are exposed to this fight are going to be through the roof.
yeah, they got to do something about the pricing. Typically, like for concerts or other sports, it kind of works the opposite. Like the tickets get bought out and then they become more expensive in the market, right? Because the demand is there, right? And maybe if the scalpers kind of, if they don't get it right, like obviously they got to reduce it at some point. But generally, that's how in boxing, it's like everyone's waiting last minute to see if the prices drop, right? There's just something wrong with that model. It's just that's not working, and the reason it's not, because imagine like you're a couple states away or in another country and you want to go, right? It's kind of difficult to plan, and it's kind of like, I mean, you're not going to buy a plane ticket and then kind of and buy a very expensive boxing ticket that may or may not drop in price. You know, you're not going to make the trip and then be here and wait and see the prices the prices drop. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's an issue they got to fix with that. But that aside, are you surprised that Dana White TKO, like the presence just is, maybe it's just me, but I don't feel the presence. I don't feel like this, like, oh man, this promotion is at another level. It just feels like another Saudi event, is what it feels like.
Is that the vibe you're getting?
That's the vibe I feel, yes.
Mm-hmm. I haven't paid attention that much to that side of it. So I don't really know, but um, I think they've promoted it. I just don't, like I said, I don't know how much of a draw Bud really is as far as boxing. To me, it doesn't matter as a boxing fan, because Bud is Bud. Like this, I've loved
Right.
following this dude's career. I think he's a very likable guy, but I've always talked about this. He just doesn't connect to the market for some reason as
Mhm.
much as he should, and I think that's what this whole thing is a reflection of up until this point. But I want to get a better gauge of it Friday and Saturday. I just haven't been asked about this fight. Is my only point on it. I haven't been asked about this fight from anybody outside of my boxing circle.
And
Maybe that's
speaking
a
about
reflection of where boxing is in general in America.
yeah, and speaking of outside, I mean, outside of Omaha, no one really knows Crawford like that. I honestly believe like Crawford can walk on most like airports. I'm not saying nobody will recognize him, but I don't think he would get swamped like that, right? Like it's just I think he walks freely around. I've seen videos where Crawford's just walking freely and no one's bothering him. Good for him, but it makes you wonder, right? But here's the thing.
And JC brings up a good point. It's he's been a part-time fighter for 6 years.
100%.
So that's part of it. We talked about that ad
Yeah.
nauseum too. Is he's been a part-time fighter since 2020.
And
We're going on 6 calendar years. He's a part-time fighter, so you can't really market yourself 100% to capacity when you're part-time.
and if with marketing and we're also going to talk about it as far as when we get to the actual fight, because I think it's a very important point. But I need to say this. I think the lack of Bud Crawford's popularity. I'm not saying he, it's. I'm not saying he has no blame for it. I think in this age, like fighters have to play a role in them getting over as a talent and with the public. Today, you have access to social media. You have ways to kind of connect with people that you never did before. But I do think, Alex, that it is a reflection of just the total inability of American promoters to like really promote.
Mhm.
And also a reflection of the lack of popularity of boxing in general,
Yeah,
right?
because this is the thing. One of the things that I like about Bud, that's endearing to me about Bud, is he's a fighter. Um, just
No,
in general, everything about that dude is a fighter. He's just,
yeah,
when you think of fighter, that dude likes to fight. He's a fighter. But his thing, I think, is I don't think he's worried about popularity. I think he's gonna let his fist speak for itself, and then he cares about the money aspect of it. He cares about winning fights.
yeah.
Um,
But Kelly,
that's
there
what he
used to
cares
be a
about.
day.
No, no. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he's ever worried about marketing himself. I don't think he's worried about
I agree.
he's not like a Jake Paul figure who goes
Yeah,
out and
we've always, I
he
guess,
wants that. I think
the
Bud's fine without it.
I
As
get
long
that.
as he's getting the money coming in and the big fight, I think he's fine. I don't think he's out there worried about marketing himself.
But the thing is this: there's fighters have always been that way in general. Like there's always been fighters like Bud that they just let their fists do the talking. They just go to the ring. They take care of business, and they've been popular in the history of boxing. Like without social media, without any of it, right?
That's
Because
dead.
because the sport of boxing was popular. The sport was popular. So therefore, whoever was on top in the sport, by default, people just knew who they were, right?
Mhm.
Salvador Sanchez, like people could like today, if there's a fighter that's not American, well, he's not popular. He doesn't speak English, and then Salvador Sanchez didn't. He wasn't a scholar in English, yet he was relatively well known because he fought in the wide world of sports, and when he died, it was a breaking story on the news stations, right? It was a tragic death, but it showed you that this featherweight Mexican that didn't speak a lick of English, right, was beloved and known by the American public to a certain degree, more so than just about any American fighter today, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that the age of as long as you're good at it, as long as you're a top talent in the sport, you know what I mean, and you're a fighter, by default, you might not be the biggest star in the sport, right? But you're going to be relevant and you're going to be well known simply
Yeah.
because of that. Well, those days are over.
Yeah. And like
You know,
Michael says, this is a bit of a silver medal fight for hardcore fans, I would say. Because
Hmm,
as far as casuals, I don't think they know Benavidez like that. Like people say, you could say people would rather Canelo versus Benavidez and Bud versus Boots, but I don't even think people know Boots like that either. This is probably, outside of Jake Paul, the biggest fight that American boxing has to offer right now, right? It's
yeah.
Canelo versus Bud. And once again, to me, it's a more of an American boxing story. Is I don't know if Canelo versus Benavidez is the bigger fight than Canelo versus Bud. It's the fight you and I would rather see. It's the fight Michael would rather see. Yeah, all of us. Like, we'd rather see Canelo Benavidez. We'd rather see Bud handle business at 154. We'd rather the organic fights, right? We're hardcore fight fans.
I
I don't
agree.
think casuals look at it like that. They're just looking at who's the bigger name. And the sad part about this is probably the biggest fight that American boxing has to offer within our borders. And is it really landing the way it should be landing? It's still going to do numbers. It
They
is,
don't.
but is it landing the way it should be? Like, this is, as Michael said, it's the best Mexican fighter of our generation. It's the best American fighter of our generation. This should be landing. It's not
Yeah,
really landing. I
it's
mean,
it's
it's
not
landing
landing.
to a certain extent, but not the way it should be.
It's not. It's not landing. And if it eventually lands, it's going to be a rough landing. You know what I mean? But so that'll be interesting. But I look at the end of the day, just to make a point about the Benavidez thing. We've talked in nauseam about wanting to see that fight, right? And I think the Benavidez side has a lot to blame as well. Everybody puts all the blame on Canelo. I'm not saying there's not any. He hasn't done himself any favors with the narratives, the way when he says things like, "I can fight whoever I want," and what does he bring? Just 25 pounds or whatever. Like Canelo doesn't do himself any favors. But the point is this: the casuals don't know who Benavidez is. They just don't. They could put him on a lineup, right? Like the only reason they know about Benavidez is because many of their boxing friends tell them that that's the guy that Canelo's ducking. That's all they know. They just know, oh, he must be dangerous. Canelo must not want to fight him because he's dangerous, but they don't know who he is. If they did, they would actually buy his fights. They would actually watch him, right? But nobody's watching his fights. So no one's buying his fights. So all these people that claim like, oh yeah, Benavidez, but they don't even watch Benavidez. They just like the idea of saying this is the guy that Canelo's ducking, this is the guy that Canelo's avoiding, and to them that's all that really matters at the end of the day. That's all they know about Benavidez.
You know what's intriguing about Canelo versus Bud to me is if you were to ask people, all right, let's go back to Bud versus Errol. Bud completely destroys Errol, and he goes on this post-fight. That's the most interviews I've ever seen him do. Post-fight, those weeks after, he goes on his tour, right?
Yeah.
And initially he says, I can't fight at middleweight. Those guys are too big. Highest I'd go is 158, whatever he said.
Yeah.
Then the next day, he changed tune. Somebody got to him and said, hey, man, you got Canelo up there. You know, there's a lot of money up there. He changed tune, right?
Well, while you're fast forwarding a little bit, he actually declined that. Like he actually said, "Nah, Canelo is to." He kind of said the similar thing that he said about middleweight. It was after the Jermell fight that he had to change the tune. It was after that fight.
So the reason I bring it up is after, when this first was kicked around 2 years ago, people were like, "Oh man, yeah, but Canelo's too big. Canelo's too big." It is what it is with that fight. Canelo's just too big. And then a year goes by and people are warming up to it. But then the Bud fight at 154 happens against Madrimov and he looks good. He wins the fight. He looks good. Then it's like, if he, 154, he didn't look as dominant at 154 as he did at 147. So if he goes up to 168, whoa. This was like a dress rehearsal, and I don't know about this. So it became more Canelo. And then as time goes on, though, what happens is Canelo fights Berlanga, doesn't get a stoppage. Canelo fights his last fight, doesn't look that good, doesn't get the stoppage, right? And now all of a sudden what you have is a fight that was once 5-1, 6-1 odds. I'm looking at it this morning and it's now minus 192. So Canelo's now less than 2-1 favorite. It seems like money keeps coming in on Bud.
Yeah.
If you hear people talk, more pundits and participants are picking Bud than Canelo now. If you hear people talk, that's what they're saying. Sure. So something has happened, and I go on my betting website on FanDuel right before we go on the show, and you can now get Canelo Canelo by decision at plus money. Canelo by decision is now plus 110.
I love that. Okay.
That's where we're at. So what I'm saying is there's been a flip. I don't know what's going on here. There's more money coming on Bud. There's more pundits picking Bud than Canelo. And what I'm saying is the narrative has changed.
Sure.
And what I don't want to see is if Canelo goes into this fight and wins a decision, which I'm picking Canelo by decision. I don't want to see these dudes flip all of a sudden and go back to 2023 narrative to where Canelo was just too big. Wait a second. More experts and pundits than not are picking Bud to win the fight.
Mm.
Everybody's saying Canelo's washed up. He's past it. Bud's going to win the fight. More pundits than not. And now we've got the betting market saying this is close. This is getting close to toss-up territory. D-Style?
It is, yeah.
So
I think there's a lot
narrative flip when if Canelo wins this fight and say, oh, you know, this was a cherry pick and we knew it all along, and then he's too big for Bud. I don't want to see that.
I agree.
Now what we've got, D-Style, is more in the line with what Michael was just saying in the comment section. Is you've got the best Mexican fighter of this generation, best American fighter of this generation, 2 pound for pound level fighters, 2 of the best fighters of the generation going against each other. Right. And let's see who's the best. That's what these dudes. That's what the market has done to this fight last year.
Let me say this, and this. I'm not saying you're wrong about what you just said, because you're not wrong. However, I think it's this is not just the best Mexican, this is the 2 best of the generation. Period. 1 and 2 of their generation.
You think so?
Right? Yes. If we're going back like post Floyd Mayweather retiring years, yes. Right? Like if we go back 2015 on, like these are the top 2 guys. And if you want to shuffle, if you want to insert somebody, they're both top 5, right? Like it's regardless of anything. They've both been number 1 pound for pound at some point by consensus. They've both been multiple division world champions, multiple division lineal. They've both been undisputed. Crawford in 2 weight classes. So it's to me, and not only that, it's if you look just by looking at the raw numbers, like world champions, Americans and Mexicans, these are 2 of the top 3, nations in the world, right? When it comes to talent. So, like to me, this is why this is very significant, right? Like this is the winner of this fight can basically have the claim that I'm the best fighter in my generation.
They're going to claim it. Either way, they're going to claim
100%. It. And that's what it should be, quite frankly. And if people want to make it about anything else, they could do that if they want.
But what I'm saying, D-Style, is, not to cut you off, is they back themselves into that corner now. The people who are going to try to do the other thing if Canelo wins this fight, because
they're going to do
before it was they actually had an alibi. It's not Canelo's too big. He's too big. It's 2 weight classes. It's too big. It's not a pound for pound fight because it has now dudes are saying it with their chest. Bud's going to win this fight. Canelo's too old. Canelo's got 2 concrete feet and all this stuff. Now what they're saying is different, and they can no longer, they back themselves into the corner of this is for the best. This is for generational supremacy right here. And they can't back off of that now. That's what the market has done. It's what these dudes have done.
That's what the market is showing. And when you have experts saying Bud's going to win, quote unquote experts, right? You have fighters saying he's going to win. You have trainers saying he's going to win.
You got the betting odds close to toss up.
Yeah, so if Canelo wins, he should get credit. Well, what do you mean doesn't get credit? Oh, I don't think he should get credit. Who the fuck are you to say he doesn't get credit, right? And so to me that means you get credit. Like if we're going to go by that, right? But I'm going to tell you this, Calix, and I've always had a rule: never let the feel of fight week influence how you pick a fight, right? Ever. Like, because you will be sucked in, like you will be influenced. The brain is a powerful thing. You'll start to think things, but I what I want to do, and I'm not even sure how you're feeling specifically about the fight. I know you said Canelo decision, but I just want to help people use their logic. Because to me, most people picking Canelo are using logic and reason. Most people picking Bud, I'm not saying they're using no logic or reason, but they're using intuition. It's a feeling they have. That's all it is. It's a belief that they have. And I believe that because I'm listening very carefully. And they're banking on things that they have no evidence for. It's just a feel. It's just a leap of faith that they need to take in order to believe that Bud has a chance to win this fight, right?
What do you mean, though? I don't know. What do you mean?
That's what I said.
Like, what's an example of that, though?
So, for example, Bud Crawford is stronger than Canelo. How can people possibly have what can they show me? What can they point to? Like, who's
He
a naturally
deadlifts.
bigger man?
He deadlifts a lot of weight. That's what they'll go with.
Okay. Are you Are you ducking down and deadlifting things in a boxing match? I would looking at their frame, looking at their bodies, right? Bud is like long and lanky and more than Canelo, right? I would Canelo could bench press more than Bud. There's no doubt in my mind.
You know, one thing that I always find funny is height class instead of weight.
But I have some other things. I have some other things.
Yeah.
So first, before I make my point about intuition to you, let's just go over a couple of things, right? Has Bud, forget about size for a second. Has Bud ever fought a better fighter than Canelo?
No.
Has Bud ever fought anybody who hits as hard as Canelo?
And Errol is not better than Canelo. People need to stop with that.
He's not, especially not that Errol. Have you not seen Errol train lately? But has he ever faced anybody hit this?
He never was. He never was.
But either way, has he ever faced anybody hits anywhere near as hard as Canelo? Anybody? I can't even believe you're thinking about it. Like who?
No.
You name who are you thinking about?
But that's not. In fairness, that's not what I worry about for this fight for Bud. Canelo's not a stopper anymore.
No, that's not the point. The point is not about whether he's
but to answer your question, no, I don't think no.
It's just one of many factors. I mean, he's already the best fighter he's fought, and he's the hardest hitter he's fought. On top of that, has he ever fought someone who's as good as a body puncher as Canelo?
No, I don't think so.
Like, I mean, has he fought anybody with a ring IQ of Canelo?
He's fought guys with IQ, but no, not that level.
But Canelo, like at Canelo's level, like you could say, yeah, that guy's a better boxer than Canelo.
No. And he hasn't fought anybody.
Has Bud ever fought anywhere near the 168-pound division?
No.
Has he ever fought anybody as big as Canelo?
No.
I mean, I'm to me.
Can we do the same thing the other way?
Yes, you can, and it's not. It doesn't look really good for Bud. Bud's not the best fighter Canelo's fought.
No.
I think.
Oh yeah, Mayweather.
36-year-old Floyd, when he was the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, and ended up beating Pacquiao like 2 years later. That Floyd.
You think that Floyd was better than this, Bud?
Or a year later, but I believe so. Yes.
I know. I think
much harder to hit and better defensive fighter.
It's not better than better. It's more stylistic match. I think Bivol was a tougher fight. I think Mayweather's a tougher fight, and I think Golovkin's a tougher fight than the Bud fight.
But what I'm saying is, even if you say it's not about better, not like the point is, there's very debatable questions, and you can't possibly really know. Like you don't know who's better, Floyd or Bud Crawford. Not to mention that's a 23-year-old wagering Canelo. So
I don't know if any of that matters anyway. It's going to come down to who they are at this point. Styles are going to come into play.
The reason it matters, Calix, right? Like here's the reason that it matters, right? Because it comes down to experience. I keep hearing when people are breaking down these fights, how Bud Crawford is the fighter with the high IQ. He's the skilled fighter. And Canelo, I mean, it's just the size. That's all that he brings to the table is the way they're breaking it down. Right? Like, man, it's just the size difference. It's the only reason. I really don't know. Right? And what I'm telling you is that if they were the same size, I'm still not sure Bud beats him. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not, like, the reason I'm telling you, Calix, I don't think he's a better inside fighter than Canelo. I just don't. I don't think Bud's a better defensive fighter than Canelo. Is the reason I'm telling you this. The intuition people are using is, oh yeah, well, Bud's a better boxer, so that's not even debatable. And I think he has enough skill to overcome the size difference and the experience difference of Canelo. That's the intuition people are using when no evidence shows that whatsoever. There's no evidence that suggests that he's a more skilled fighter. Based on what? There's no evidence that suggests that Bud can adjust to any style. Based on what? Well, what level of opposition has he fought that's very elite that you could say, oh yeah, he adjusted to this elite boxer.
I don't like that. I don't like that argument. I don't like that argument right there.
You don't have to like it. It's the truth, though. Is anything I said false?
No, but the level of his competition has a lot to do with guys ran the other way too. And I do think the resume.
He eventually got Spence. It's not like he didn't get the Spence fight.
And I do think that they're with Bud. It's tough. He's one of those guys. It's tough to envision him losing. And I think that's what, huh?
That's all intuition, bro. That's all.
And you're right about that. That's what I'm saying, though. I think that's part of it. Is people when Bud Crawford's name comes up,
right?
It's tough to for people to envision that guy.
That's a Teddy Atlas prediction. It's like he doesn't know how to lose. He doesn't know how to lose. Like that. That's what that is.
But that's a thing. And it's a real tangible. It's
not a real thing.
It is a thing, though. Like some guys just have that. Like they know how to. They just know how to get in there in that ring, and get it done.
Okay.
And no, this is a real thing. D-Style. This is a real thing. This isn't just like something, some like outer space thing. Bud Crawford on Saturday night is going to show up. D-Style. He's going to show up.
There's no doubt about that. He's going to show up.
This is not going to be Mel. This is not going to be Berlanga. This is not going to be a guy just going in there for a sparring session. He's going to show up. And what we know about Bud too is he's not going to fight the fight that Mayweather fought. He's staying in that pocket, and he likes to fight. And that's not taking away anything from Mayweather because you're going to be
so disappointing, Crawford. You're going to be so disappointing, Crawford, after
but what I'm saying, D-Style, is that's actually, to me, what works in Canelo's favor. Is Canelo always wants a fight too. Bud wants a fight. Canelo wants a fight. That's why I think this is going to be a good fight. And the fact that Bud is going to engage, and like you said, I would agree. I think Canelo's a better inside fighter.
I think he's going to try to engage, and then he's going to go to Plan B, Calix. Like I'm telling you right now, there's a Plan B in this fight.
No, see, this is where you're messing up. There's
a Plan B in this fight. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you.
That's where you're messing up.
I didn't think it was in Jermel either. Neither did you.
True.
But what happened to Jermel?
But we obviously agree that Crawford's on another level than Jermel.
In skill, yes.
No, not only in skill. Not only in skill. Like you got to admit this.
There's been a pattern with Bud has been laying the groundwork for how he's going to try to win the fight.
Don't make this mistake, D-Style. You have to admit Bud is caught from a different cloth.
I never doubted that. Bud's a great fighter.
No. I'm not talking about great. I'm talking about the mentality is different. It's an old school mentality when he gets in the ring.
Like boxing smart and trying to win on the move is old school too. I mean, there's no.
What you're saying is no. I'm not saying he can't have a strategic plan B. What you seem to be saying is once he gets touched up a little bit and he's engaging, he's not going to want to engage anymore.
If Bud fights the way you think he's going to fight, he's going to get knocked out, bro. If he fights that way.
He's not.
He is. He'll go straight.
No.
He ain't going to fight that way. Berlanga, like the reason Canelo hasn't got a knockout is because he's outclassing these dudes, and there's a signing agreement, and they just kind of agree to just go through the motion and just take their ass whooping by Canelo for 12 rounds. That's what happened in the Berlanga fight, in the Munguia fight. That's what happens with every dude, right? Bud's not going to do that. Bud's going to try to strategically win the fight, right? He's not going to just try to go through the motions and have a signing agreement with Canelo. That's not what I'm saying.
So
But
what?
what I'm telling you is, once he feels those chingazos and realizes, you know what? I can't win this way. Like, I'm not going to be trading with Canelo or staying in the pocket with Canelo. And even if I'm getting the best of him 2 out of 1, that I still don't like those odds for Bud. Like, I just don't. Like, so he's going to be strategic and 2 words, Calix, sweet science, right?
What is it?
Like the sweet science, right? Like, it's going to go to the sweet science bag. And he's already been laying the groundwork, and I'm surprised you haven't noticed it.
Yeah, but when you say sweet science with Bud, what are you talking about? What
Jab, move, circle the ring, try to get a
Bud's
right
not a
hand in
mover.
there.
He can move, but he's not a mover.
It's what he's gonna try to do. It's what neither is Jermel. Like, but he was moving, right? I mean, Jermel was moving so much. Like, I was waiting for the U-Haul to show up in the middle of that fight, right? So that's what I'm telling you. Like,
He'll move
really,
he'll move a bit.
El Cago and Bomac will save Bud and throw in the towel by round 8. Man, Nando, thanks for the support, brother, and the super chat. Much appreciated. Shout out to chat.
Who do you think is going to throw more punches in this fight?
Probably Bud.
Because the favorite, as far as the betting odds, was Bud.
But because Canelo's defense is so good. Even Bivol said it. It's because defense is good. You got to throw like 3 or 4 to land that one. Right, like Bivol said it. He's that you just need to throw more. Like, the only guy that didn't have to throw a lot against Canelo was Mayweather, and that was a younger Canelo. Now it was still a really good fighter in Canelo, but just saying, right? Now here's the thing. Here's what I think is going to happen, Cal, because he's laid the groundwork. Have you not seen like Crawford on these podcasts and on the show with Andre Ward and just the things he's been saying?
I would never watch a podcast with Andre Ward.
Did you see like when Jermaine Ortiz fought Teofimo Lopez and Jermaine was running around the ring, and even though like Teofimo still landed more punches, that didn't matter. Like Bud was like, no, like this is defense. It's hit and not get hit. Tio, you lost. Right? There's that. Now you could say, no, that's because he just wanted to get on Tio because they were beefing, right? But then he's on Andre Ward's podcast and he's saying, no, I appreciate the movers, man. Guys like you, that's real boxing. People need to learn the difference between fighting and boxing, right? If you want to watch fighting, go to UFC and you can watch all the fighting you want. But boxing is about hit and not get hit, right? And Andre Ward's like, oh, man, I want to thank you, Bud, coming from you, who gets knockouts, to appreciate what we do, right? Shakur Stevenson, what do you think about that performance in De Los Santos? He did what he had to do. That's called boxing. These boxing fans are stupid. They don't know what boxing is, right? William Skull, Jim Lamley tells him, hey, he was running that fight. He wasn't running. That's not running. That's boxing, right? That's what your boy Bud Crawford's been doing. He's been going around telling people that's not running, that's boxing. And I guarantee you, right, you could put this, like, write it down, Calix, middle of the fight. He's gonna be moving around the ring, and commentator Andre Ward, who you don't want to listen to, you're gonna have to listen to him. And he's unless you put it on mute or on the Spanish side, I don't know. Right? He's gonna be saying something along the lines of, the boxing fans are going to say that this is running, but it's not running. It's boxing. That's what this is, right? Now, it's not going to work. He's not going to win. Like,
if that's what happens, I'm going to throw something at my TV, a soft object, and I'm going to change the channel and put it back on college football. Because, number one, the fact that Andre Ward is on this telecast,
people know he has to fight that way. People know he's got to move to win. That's the way you beat Canelo. You don't beat Canelo by standing in front of him the whole fight.
If this is what this fight comes to, Bud thinking that he's got to move to win this fight, and then he's going to fight on Netflix against Canelo and his biggest platform of all time, and what I think is his swan song before retirement. then that would be sad for boxing. It would be terrible to me because
Well,
I
it
like both of these.
depends, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it depend how we box it? Like, look, I'm not saying it's gonna pull a William Skull.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't want to see a William Skull.
Can't
type of
do
fight.
that because that doesn't win you the fight. That's too negative, right? So he's like Bud knows that.
But
He know
it's two ways to look at this, style. The boxing fan way and the casual fan way is, and this is Bud's probably not worried about this. He's probably just worried about winning the fight. And that's what worries me is I want to be entertained. I like both of these guys and I want both of them to do well in this fight, win or lose, right? And I want this to be good for the sport as a whole.
I agree
this
with
would be a
that.
big platform, right? And they're both likable to me. And they both have styles that are very fan friendly. So what would be disappointing to me is if they come together, two fighters that are fan friendly, two fighters who are cut from an old school cloth and put together a fight that's blah. It just doesn't work chemistry wise. And that's what worries me if Bud comes in with this type of style and fights a Shakur Stevenson type of fight, not in his last fight against Zepeda, but some of his old ones, and just tries to chop up the fight for 12 rounds and try to win a decision. That would bother me. And it may be good for Bud's legacy if he were to win that type of fight. But once again,
it probably wouldn't be good for a boxer, but it would be great for his legacy.
Yeah, and I guess that's all he's worried about. But that's what worries me as a boxing fan is that would be the only way.
Yeah, it goes back to the original point you make, Alex.
It just
worried about that.
It just worries me that two likable fighters with likable styles get in the ring together, and this happens, and they don't put on a likable, good fan.
Really quick, let me get this, and then we'll continue. Just like y'all saying, if Bud wins, he's top 3 all-time great. I don't think me and Kelly said that, but okay. Then the same should be said about Canelo if he wins. No hypocrites, no double standards. Now, I never say he's top 3 all time.
No, those words will never come out of my mouth.
No, that's a lot to ask for. I mean, but I think what we both said has a claim to the best of the generation, right?
and that's I'm glad you were clear about what we mean by generation. It would be post Mayweather Pacquiao, right? Because that's what people do. They're like best of generation. They don't even define what generation is.
Sure,
because generation could be the last 25. It could be the 21st century. It could be the last 25 years, or it could be the last 10 to 15 years.
Because you can't put a generation in the defined decades, right? You can't be like, because that's why I never even liked Fight of the Decade awards.
Best fighter
peak in the middle of a decade, and they kind of end in the middle of the other decade. So you know what I mean? It's just weird, but
best fighter of the post Mayweather Pacquiao era, and even that's debatable to me because Usyk exists, in a way exists. Do we consider Chocolatito because his career kind of staggered post Mayweather Pacquiao? Do we consider him in that? Like you said, to be safe, they're both top 5. Both top 5. But it doesn't matter because perception is everything. And the perception is the two best fighters of this generation are fighting on Saturday night. And the winner of that will have claim to be the best fighter of this generation.
What do you make of this? Like saying he only benefits of getting the big bag, not really legacy.
Canelo Gaines is just another big bag. A win does nothing for his legacy.
Like, do you agree with that?
No, not anymore. Not anymore because of how it's been marketed. And the marketing, that's one thing we can say about the marketing is the marketing has been successful.
Here's what I'll say.
In that aspect. In making this betting odds, it's almost toss up.
But is it fair? Is it fair to say that? Because I'm kind of like 75% with you here. I think Bud gets more credit.
Oh yeah,
than Canelo does if he wins, but I still think Canelo should get significant credit.
He will.
Right. And that's what I think.
They're going to try now. They're going to try. They're going to try, but they've already backed themselves into that corner. They had their out a year or two ago. It was, there's a big leap for Bud. Now it's high class, right? Now look at them like they're both the same size. Look at them next to each other. It actually looks like Bud's a little bigger.
Now, a
Look how
couple of
big Bud
things.
is. Bud's going to back up Canelo. Bud's going to knock out Canelo. Dude, there are more pundits than
Mhm.
not picking Bud to beat Canelo. There are. The betting odds are now putting this.
I agree. I think that influenced the betting odds because the way people bet moves the needle, right? So I think that had a lot to
And
do
then
with
on
it. I
top of
think
that,
the
these now
rumors. Well, really quick, I think the rumors that are coming, like people are coming out saying, "Oh man, Canelo hasn't looked that good in sparring. He's been getting his ass whooped in
yeah.
sparring,"
Look at the
and I
skull
think that
fight.
that had an influence and no, but there's people literally saying they're leaking out that Butt has I'm sorry, Canelo hasn't looked good in sparring. That Errol spent I'm sorry, not Errol, Boots. That Boots ended up whooping on Canelo in sparring and
You see his
like just
eye.
yeah. Did you see his eye? It's a shadow, bro. Like what? But Canelo's like light as fuck, bro. Like you just tap his eye and it's fucking like you know
But
what I mean?
this is why you can't discount what was the word you used? Intuition,
Intuition. Yeah.
right?
No, look,
Because it's like I'm saying,
we all use
is
intuition.
but the part of the reason that Bud is being picked by a lot of people and why I said is it's difficult for people to see. There's certain athletes like
Are you saying that Bud has like that aura of like if
Michael
Michael Jordan's
Jordan.
gonna play in the finals?
This is what people compare him to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. It's Michael Jordan. How many finals did he lose? 0. It's going to be impossible for a lot of people to pick against Michael Jordan in the finals because they've never seen him lose in the finals. They've seen him be dominant. They've seen
Right.
Bud knock out everybody at welterweight. They've seen him move up another weight class and win. It's hard for hardcore boxing fans and pundits to envision a fight in which Bud loses, and that leaks out into the casual market too, and that leaks into the betting odds. And that's why Canelo is gonna get credit for this if he wins the fight. That's the bad news for the Canelo haters is Canelo's gonna get credit for this. And if he wins this fight, he's gonna get credit.
Here's the
Now, if Canelo wins this fight,
yeah.
he's going to get credit as the best fighter of this generation, and that's going to gnaw at these people. It's going to
I mean, look, Bud's gonna get his credit if he wins. I mean, there's no, especially if he wins the way some people are saying, like if he knocks out Canelo or
Bud's
Domin. I
going
mean,
to number
there's
one.
no denying that
If he
whatsoever.
wins this
But
fight, if he wins this fight, he goes to number 1 pound for pound. He does.
I mean, we got to see how he wins, and do we agree with the scorecard? It's in a way, still in a way. I mean, I don't want to kind of cross that yet, but then again, a win over Canelo is significant. There's no doubt about that. But then of course people will argue sick, all great arguments. So it is what it is. But I want to talk about this like activity thing. Bro, Bud hasn't fought in 15 months.
Yep.
Like, there's no way he knows how his body's going to react in a fight stress environment, like in a brand new weight class. There's no way. Like, there's no way he could possibly know.
Is he the type of athlete that doesn't matter as much?
No, because it mattered against Madrimov.
Did it though? Like,
Yes.
you think that was partly ring rust?
No, not. Well, I see what you're asking now. I'm not arguing that that the ring rust is going to be an issue. It's a possibility, and he's older, Calix. At some point, it's going to catch up to you, right? I'm not saying there's no way for us to know this is the fight where it catches up, right? All I'm saying is, I mean, you're kind of gambling with the odds here a little bit. You know, this is not the fight where you want that to happen. You know what I mean? I think he's jumping in too high. It's been 15 months, constant inactivity. He's been inactive for the last few years, so that's nothing new, right? But in the case of the Madrimov fight, I don't think it was ring rust. I mean, maybe for the first round or two, but I think it was that extra punch resistance that a new weight class brings, right? That the new element of like, okay, whoa, like this is a different weight. This is a heavier guy. Like this is like all those combined factors, along with Madrimov's skill combined, I think is what gave Bud a very tough fight. I mean, I thought that was a very close fight, very close.
But this is why Canelo gets full credit if he wins the fight, and this is why Bud's getting so much juice, even with all of that going against him. Even with, look, he didn't have the greatest performance either, coming off of his last fight. Not his best performance. Close fight. But still, despite all of that, despite going up 2 weight classes, not his best performance, despite chronic inactivity the past 6 calendar years, he's still here. Why? Bud's different. He's just different. And that's the perception you talk. That is not the perception. That's the what's the word you used again?
Intuition.
That's what you're talking about. Intuition that everybody's talking about. It's the aura surrounding him that everybody's talking about. This is a different breed of athlete that Canelo's about to face. So that's why, to answer Chauncey's question, that's why Canelo gets full credit. It's you guys have built this dude up to be superhuman at this point. And I've talked about how he is different. This is a different athlete. This is a dude that with the mentality that it doesn't matter what it is. And Michael Jordan was this way. It doesn't matter if it's a poker game, a golf game. I'm going to win. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to win. That's
but here's where logic comes in.
No. I'm not talking about logic. I'm talking about that's why Canelo gets full credit. That's what they built this up to be. That's why he gets full credit.
But I know that, but like weight classes don't matter. He's like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, there's not a human being alive where weight classes doesn't matter to him. Okay,
I agree.
Pacquiao was a fucking phenom. Like he said, you know what? Like, I don't want to fight a fucking 154 anymore. Fuck this shit. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was his kind of ceiling in terms of what he felt his body could take. Right.
He felt even in a dominant victory, he felt Margarito's power and said no.
Yeah, like I'm good, bro. Like I don't want to. Even Floyd Mayweather never went to middleweight. Right? Like he never went there. Well, why did he never go there? He just felt like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like keep going. Like he knew like Floyd. Well, Floyd wasn't different. He wasn't special.
Despite what Andre Ward says, he needed 3 tune-ups before the Kovalev fight, right? And then he needed everything to be perfect for the second fight. And then he needed all of a sudden. Now he's talking about, I would have went to heavyweight to fight in Anthony Joshua. It's weight classes matter. There's no such thing as height classes. Weight classes matter.
Classes matter. Now the thing is, and I keep getting this a lot, so I just want to address it now, right? Oh, Dista, how are you going to cope if Canelo loses? Like, what? I don't know how a lot of your guys' brains are wired. I really don't, right? If Canelo loses, I'm going to give Bud his credit, right? And I'm going to be right here live with Calix. We're still going to be doing shows. That's not going to end. But like it's, I'm not going to go into hiding. I'm not one of those people that gets a pick wrong and one of his fighters loses and he deletes his account, he disappears, or he like it's fucking boxing. It's a boxing match. It's a sport. All right. With that said, I mean, Canelo's going to win. So like I don't even know what y'all like tripping about.
You say that with confidence? You say it with confidence?
Confidence, yes.
There's a club. This fight right. This is another
it's
thing.
Confidence with a caveat. Like it's like
no caveat.
I don't want anybody to mistake what I'm saying, Calix. Right? Like I am not counting out Bud. Right? There are pathways to victory. Like if the stars align, like if Bud has a great performance, the performance of his life, he could win this fight. Like let me put it this way. Right? You watch sprinting at all, like during the Olympics?
Watch what?
Sprinting.
I did when
Usain Bolt.
I did when Usain Bolt was doing it.
Yeah. So shout out to Andrew Rodriguez. Thank you for the gifting of 5 D-Style boxing memberships. That's much appreciated. All right. And here's the thing. Like I remember, like when Usain Bolt was getting ready for one of those sprints, one of those, and and they will go through the lineup, right? And there was always like some of the Americans, the other Jamaicans, where you thought they have a shot, like, you know what I mean? And the other ones were like whatever, like they had no shot, right? But what would the like what commentators always say, right? Gatlin could win this race, but he's going to have the fastest time of his career, and Usain Bolt's going to have to underperform, right? That's a shot at winning. He could only control how fast he goes, but he's going to have to be his best time, and Usain Bolt's going to have to do a little less than he usually does, right? And Usain Bolt would always dominate. It didn't matter in the end, right? Bud's that guy. Bud has to have the fight of his life. Bud's going to have the best performance of his life to have a shot to win this fight, and it may still not be good enough, Alex. That still may not hit the mark because you and everybody else, all right, with this Bud's different. He's like, I feel like you're going to switch your pick to Bud by the end of the weekend. I just had this feeling. That's where we're going, which is fine. But if that happens, but here's the thing. All that is post Errol Spence performance syndrome. That's what a lot of that is. A lot of that is that's what a lot of. I'm not necessarily saying with you, but with a lot of people. Yeah. It's like, I thought Spence was going to beat him, and he proved me wrong in that one. Well, like, you know what I mean? I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that was going to happen, right? You and I saw that happening. I saw the beatdown coming.
Yep.
And I was more confident about that one than I'm about this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was more confident about Bud beating Spence than I am about Canelo beating Bud, and I'm confident about Canelo beating Bud, right? But my point is this, all right? You don't think Canelo's special? You don't think he's built different?
Yeah. Yes, but we've seen Canelo lose. There's vulnerability.
Sure.
In him, that doesn't make him not special. That means his resume is more difficult.
Did he lose to guys that Bud could beat?
Yes. I mean, no. What I'm saying is Bud has not faced anywhere close to a Bivol. Bud has not faced anywhere close to a Mayweather. Bud has not faced anywhere close to a Golovkin. We've already been through that, right? Canelo's legacy is more difficult. And it's what I've talked about. How many times have you heard me talk about this like a broken record, right? The guys with the tougher resumes, and the sad part about this is the Canelo haters try to take this away from him. But what is endearing about Canelo is he has faced the toughest competition, short of Benavidez recently, right? And I don't want to get into that once again. Whatever people think about that, we're not going to debate that.
Okay.
But he's faced the Bivols. He's gone through 168 in 11 months, right? He's faced Golovkin 3 times. And we've already debunked the narrative that he waited Golovkin out. That wasn't true either. 17 months from winning lineal champion at 160. He faced Mayweather when his whole team was telling him, don't face Mayweather, don't face Mayweather, don't face Mayweather. Hell, you had his matchmaker on here saying we didn't want him to face Mayweather, and he still faced Mayweather, right? So what I'm saying is, when you take on that, when you have that legacy, there's going to be the illusion of vulnerability, or the vulnerability is going to show more so than the guy with the weaker resume. What I would say in defense of Bud is Bud was so dominant and looked so dominant that a whole stable of fighters avoided him.
But let's go over fights where he wasn't dominant.
Madrimov.
Was he dominant against Porter? I don't think he was.
No.
I don't think dominant is the right word for that.
No, he showed vulnerabilities there. But what I'm saying, D-Style, is he's never been overcome. He's never lost. Porter pushed him. Madrimov pushed him. That's 2 examples where he was pushed. For the most part, he breezed through his competition. So what I'm saying is, when you talk about I keep forgetting the word you brought up. What is it again? Remind. Intuition. That's what people are looking at. They're looking at Bud dominant, Canelo vulnerable, and despite the resume and the complexity of it, that's what people look at and they oversimplify, overgeneralize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm telling you is, in this fight, if we break it down stylistically and what we think the result will be, and I'm picking Canelo decision, but a lot of that has to do with what are the judges looking at, who are the judges, who is the referee. And that's what worries me. The second thing that worries me about this fight. The first one, I hope it's not going to be non-fan friendly, non-entertaining. The second thing that worries me is there's a clear-cut victory here by somebody and it goes the other way, or it's in that gray area to where in boxing, unfortunately, you have this with any sport with judges, figure skating, take any of them, gymnastics. There's gray area and we don't know who really won, and one guy is going to win the fight or it's going to be a draw and we're not going to get a clear result. That's what worries me in this fight too, because when I play this fight out in my head, I think it's a close decision victory for somebody.
So someone is asking in the chat, is stopping Porter for the first time and retiring him not dominance, right? No, that's literally not what dominance means, right? What are you talking about? Look,
impressive.
No, but it's not dominance.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't dominant.
He wasn't dominating that fight. Like you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, right? But my point is this: like when Porter's father is saying, "Yeah, I stopped that fight because my son wasn't in love with boxing anymore. He wasn't taking the sport serious anymore. I saw him in training; he looked like shit in training." And like that, I think that's a red flag, right? Personally. And this was a Porter that had 1 foot out the door. And I think, and the fact that Bud didn't look so good in that fight, I think should raise some red flags. Just my opinion, right? And I think it kind of.
But this is where I think people
mess the idea that he's this that he's this like special fighter that has overcome all the odds.
Messing up.
Because the odds aren't, Calix, the odds, I get what you're saying. You will overcome, like, people talk about him like overcoming the odds when the odds have never really been stacked against his favor. Ever.
But that could be because he's so great. In a way, he's never been an underdog. Right? Because he's so great. What I'm telling you, I think the mistake people make is like what you were saying with the Porter fight. And then they take that and they apply it to the Spence fight. Oh, you look at and Spence is better than Porter, and that didn't work, right? It's for the top fight, just like Canelo's not going to show up like he did against William Skull. He's not going to show up like he did against Edgar Berlanga. He's going to take this fight to another level of seriousness. And so is Bud. Yeah. And we're going to get the best of both fighters for what they are right now at this point in their career. We're not going to get the best Canelo because the best Canelo was 5 to 7 years ago. We're not going to get the best Bud because that fighter was 5 to 7 years ago.
Yeah.
We're going to get the best version of past prime Bud, best version of past prime Canelo, and they're fighting for supremacy of the best fighter of the generation. That's what's happening Saturday.
At some point,
and it's going to be a close decision fight. I got news for people. All those people that think there's going to be a knockout either way, you haven't been paying attention. Because Canelo is no longer a stopper. He's not going to stop Bud. And Bud's not going to go up 2 weight classes and stop Canelo. This ain't welterweight. It's not going to happen. This is a close decision fight.
The question is, why hasn't Canelo stopped guys anymore? Why is that?
Why? You tell me.
I believe after the year 2021, when he was extremely active and was getting stoppages, and was trying to go for the stoppages, he had an injury to his wrist.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting surgery for it. So now especially with these bigger guys, he fights in a more efficient way. And once this guy's mentally resigned, he just like Mayweather did later in his career, He just lets him go through the motions,
Coast.
right?
Yeah.
And like Teddy Atlas calls a silent agreement. All right, I already won. I won't hurt you any further. I won't risk any more injury. We're good. And I think that's the main primary reason why Canelo hasn't got a knockouts.
Okay, so that Canelo is that's the Canelo that's going to fight Saturday night.
Not necessarily, because the stakes are too high in this fight, and Canelo will. Like, I think he's going to throw more ferocity. I think he's going to be more explosive in this fight. And I think we're going to see a better version of Canelo because he knows if I finish this fight and I hurt my wrist like I did after the Billy Joe Saunders fight or something like that, I'm good because I just won this fight, right? And also, Bud's not going to do a silent agreement with Canelo. He's going to constantly be trying to win, right? So that's why we're not going to get that Canelo.
So you're saying there's going to be more openings.
There's going to be more openings for sure, but I think your boy is going to start boxing. He's going to start moving, stick and move. He's going to use he's going to attempt to use the postal strategy, boxing on the move. That's a conventional wisdom when it comes to Canelo. He has slow feet. You use your feet. You move around. You jab. Keep the jab in his face. Come in, throw a quick combination, and get out of dodge. I think that's going to be a strategy coming into the fight. I just don't think it's going to work.
So you like Canelo by stoppage? Is that what you're saying?
No, I do think because of the way Bud's going to fight, it's going to go distance.
And you like Canelo by clear decision?
I think Canelo wins 8-4. I think something's going to happen. Do you remember? Not afterwards, but did you watch Triple G versus Kell Brook live?
Yeah.
Do you remember like that feeling in the middle of the fight where you're like, oh fuck, like this is just too much for Kell Brook. Look at the size of this man, and Kell Brook just can't. He just doesn't have the firepower, and he's just getting clocked here, right? Like I think that you're gonna feel that.
No, I don't think so.
Like I don't know. You guys are just going like you're literally believing this. Oh, with Bud, that doesn't matter. Like Bud has this force field around him, like that. We're a weight class and being all the way like that's not going to matter for some reason.
What I'm saying is,
Canelo had a lightweight, a light heavyweight. I'm sorry, in Bivol. Right.
What I'm telling you,
he had his whole arm bruised up. He fucked up the bicep of a 6'5" Callum Smith by punching these guys who are a lot bigger than Bud. You cannot escape the lack of. I don't care how much armor Bud puts on, how much he bulks up. He's not going to take those chingazos the same. He's going to be moving, Calix.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. What I'm telling you is, you picked it to be 8-4. And that's not far off from my pick. I could pick it 7-5, 8-4 for Canelo.
But you're picturing like this close, like the bell's gonna ring, and you're gonna be, I think Canelo pulled it off. No, I think what I'm predicting is Bud's gonna look really good in the early going. Canelo's gonna miss a lot of wide shots. That's usually what happens when he fights a fighter that's has some slickness in him, like a Billy Joe Saunders or something like that, right? Especially with he's gonna be southpaw, like all this switch hitting shit. Bud's gonna fight southpaw the whole fucking fight. Okay. Like you could miss me with he's going to go righty. He might do it occasionally, but he's going to stay southpaw for the most part. Canelo's going to be missing wide. I think people are going to be feeling themselves. And then as the fight progresses, Canelo's punches are going to start getting closer to the target. By round 4 or 5, I think Canelo takes over. But might pull off one round after that, and that's about it. I think it's going to be dominance in the second half of the fight from Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we may both have it in rounds 8-4, but I believe we're envisioning a different fight still.
But there was no second half of fight for Golovkin versus Kell Brook, is what I'm saying. Golovkin completely overwhelmed him.
Because the orbital bone of Kell Brook got broken.
He completely overwhelmed him those last couple rounds and destroyed him. And Kell Brook was never the same.
No, but it was
I don't think there's going to be that type of fight for Bud.
But that's because he sustained the injury of the orbital bone. Right, that started to unravel. No, I get that, but that theoretically, like if you're asking me if Canelo's punch happens to break the orbital bone of Crawford, but yeah, then he will win by stoppage. Crawford's not going to fight with a broken orbital bone unless he's a maniac, right?
This is going to be Where we disagree is this going to be a competitive fight throughout.
Yeah,
To
I
me,
guess.
yeah.
All right.
Even in the late rounds,
I think
I
people are
think
gonna
all
be
things
surprised
being
by the body shots, bro. They're gonna be
forget
surprised
about
by
the
the body shots.
judges. I'm the judge. All things being even, 7-5, 8-4, competitive throughout, close rounds, a
This is
lot of
gonna
close.
look a lot like the Billy Joe Saunders fight, but I think I think Canelo's gonna take over sooner. There's going to be no orbital bone fracture. I mean that predicted that's the likeliness of that happening is crazy, but it could happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. Right? I'm not going to bank on it, and I think Canelo takes over from there. I think the body shots of Canelo, like bro, Canelo hit Golovkin with some monster body shots. Golovkin he had the punch resistance to take it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
He hit like his body work is insane. The long torso of Crawford's gonna be punished, right? And compared to Canelo, and for that weight class, he's a twig. When he gets hit with those body shots, he's gonna feel them, bro. Even if he blocks him with his elbow, he's gonna feel those shots.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Canelo's punches move Crawford, even when he blocks him. Don't be surprised.
No, I've
I,
seen
I,
we've seen Bud buzzed before. We've seen it.
no, I'm talking about like I don't think Bud's been rerouted with punches in his life.
Backed
And
up with punches. Yeah.
yeah, like he's gonna be like moving left and get hit with a hook, and he's gonna move the other way, like off his feet type shit. Like I think that's what you're gonna see here. And here's another thing: people are counting out Calix. So he's bulking up, right? That's gonna slow down Crawford. Like his biggest asset is speed in this fight, but right?
Bud's different though. I'm just kidding.
I mean, like I'm just saying, like he has no idea, like no clue.
You don't know
If
what
he's
his body. You don't know how his body's gonna react. I
Canelo
get it.
knows how his body's gonna. He's that's his weight class, right?
Yeah.
There's no worry about how Canelo is. Like Crawford needs to decide, like Remy said, do I come in at 160? Do I weigh in at 163? Retain some speed? Do I come in heavier than that? Do I come in the 150s? Do I like I don't think that's a good idea, but he'll be too light.
He's coming in at 166, 167.
Okay.
He will.
No, he's gonna be too heavy if he does that.
He will. He
I
will.
mean, I personally don't know what the sweet spot is, right? I'm sure they've assessed that, but that's gonna be but that you're playing a guessing game at that point.
Mhm. Yep.
Because Lester Martinez, he ain't hitting you 100% because you need to be primed and ready for a fight with Canelo. So I don't think they have like a very accurate. It's going to be interesting to see how his body reacts to that weight class because people really don't know. It could be. I don't want to sound like Bivol, but it can act. He could be a better fighter. He could be a less of a fighter. He could be. We just don't know, right? So it's going to be interesting. And then not only that, like the bulking up and Canelo again has very underrated defense. And even if his loss against Bivol showed really good defense, Bivol actually gave him credit for being a great defensive fighter. Bud's going to have to put punches and bunches, and he's going to exert so much energy doing that, right? People talk about the guard. I think he's going to have to be hitting the guard of Canelo so many times to try to sneak in a punch. And then in throwing combination, he's going to open up to counters from Canelo. I mean, I got Canelo.
Me too. Me too.
I know he's different, and people are like, I mean, the leaps. You got to believe that he's different in a way where the weight class isn't going to bother him. Got to believe he's different in a way where the punch resistance is still going to be there. You got to be different in a way where you think he's still going to have the punching power to have Canelo respect his punches, right? You're going to have to be different in so many ways that it takes a whole lot of intuition. So those are my final thoughts. Any final thoughts, Alex? We're going to roll out.
Competitive fight throughout, and love both of these fighters, and I just hope their styles mesh well and they put on a great performance. But I like Canelo by close decision.
All right. Well, man, that is interesting. Which means it could go the other way if the judges disagree with your assessment. So
Yep.
Is what it is. With that said, this is D-Style, and for Calix, we are out of here. Peace the hell out. Later, guys.
God bless.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight!